Yo, what is up, my friends? My name is Tracy, and over the last few days, or last few weeks I should say, because I'm recording this video later than I expected, I've started playing Planetside 2 like a madman again. I was away for a few months, and damn, this game sure seems a bit different. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe I'm right. I think just a little while ago, this game hit a rough patch. I was on the subreddit, a few months ago. People were complaining like no other. And I believe it was because SOE, Sony Online Entertainment, the people who develop Planetside 2, were unifying the PC and PlayStation 4 code. So it was a little screwed up, but that's not what this video is about. This video is actually going to be about me making a faction switch. Now, I'm sure you know, if you're on my channel, there's 3 factions in Planetside 2, and the cool thing is, they're all different. They have unique weapon characteristics and vehicles, and they look different. As with many, when I first started playing, I watched a few beginner's guides on YouTube talking about the differences between each faction. To keep it super simple, if you're unfamiliar, the Terran Republic, or TR, have high fire rate and high recoil weapons with large magazines. The Vanu Sovereignty, or VS, have accurate freaking laser beams, and the New Conglomerate have low fire rate guns with the highest damage output. Did you just say high damage? Is what my first thought must have been. That was one of 2 reasons I went with the old New Conglomerate, and the second being, it was only faction which had a bolt-action sniper rifle by default for the Infiltrator, opposed to the semi-auto ones the other 2 factions have. Now let's be clear, I'm not trying to make a quote-unquote political statement. Those are heavy quotations because it's a fucking video game, and the New Conglomerate is not bad at all. But the reason I switched factions is because of my biggest gripe with Planetside 2 as a game, which is the gunplay. With that last sentence, some of you might have picked up on which faction I switched to, but if you didn't, I switched to Vanu. Like I said, they have freaking laser beams. Accurate laser beams. Also, the Vanu wear spandex, and spandex is very efficient. Back on that gunplay thing. It is one of my few things that I absolutely cannot stand about Planetside 2. No, I'm not talking about how clunky movement feels, nor how wonky sniper rifles are. The accuracy model in Planetside 2 is fucking weird. Like, it's weird. I'm not going to look up stats and inner workings for the game, but in my personal experience, it's hard to master weapons because their accuracy is unpredictable. Really, honestly, the best way I can describe it is weird. Now, I know many first-person shooters use accuracy to balance and vary their guns, including Battlefield, but I feel like Planetside relies far too much on it. I've always found it hard to kill enemies at medium to long range since your accuracy is all over the place, and especially with how long it takes to kill other players, which I believe is around 10 bullets. So the Vanu's laser beams aren't perfect, but they're the best remedy, in my opinion, for this game mechanic. And the second thing I hate is very unrelated, but I'm going to say it in every single Planetside 2 video I make. Not really. But when you're using the mouse wheel to switch weapons, please have it so that it stops at the top and bottom so I don't scroll through every single time. That drives me fucking insane. Stop it! Now, this video has been completely useless so far, so I thought I'd talk about why it was not very easy to switch. I know I'm kind of making a big deal about switching factions, switching characters, but in a free-to-play game, it's not as easy as it is for other games. Because free-to-play games, you can either be rich and just buy everything, or you have to grind. And I'm not too keen on either of those things. I mean, I would love to be rich, but that's for another video. So yeah, with free-to-play games, you get attached to your character, or they don't even have to be free-to-play. Many RPGs, like World of Warcraft, you can spend so much time on a character, and if you want to just start a new character to do something else, it's hard because you've just spent so much time. But to be fair, my New Conglomerate character was only level like 26, and now I'm already level 24, I believe, for VS. So really, I was not that high of level in the first place, so switching wasn't as hard as it would be for some people who are way higher leveled. But again, you still get attached to the character. I've logged in, I think, 120 hours in total to Planetside 2, so it's just kind of one of those weird things that you kind of got to get over. And nowadays, certs, which are the currency for buying weapons, guns, attachments. Everything in Planetside 2, just about, except for cosmetics, can be bought with certs. And you seem to be able to gain certs a lot faster nowadays. So buying in-game stuff like attachments and weapons isn't as hard as it used to be. But after you switch, you realize how many little things you've bought in the game with certs, like upgrades for gadgets and stuff like that. And that's what really adds up for your currency. That's what ends up costing a lot, and you don't really notice it when you're playing the same character for a long time, because you're just, hey, I should spend some certs on this, I should spend some certs on that. But then once you switch and you have none of those upgrades, you're like, oh shit, I need to get this, I need to get that, and it gets a little ridiculous. But of course, it's a free-to-play game, and in free-to-play games you get two options. You can spend money or you can grind. And I prefer to do both sometimes, but when I can, I'll grind. And especially like something like this, I'm gonna grind for the basic stuff and then spend some money later. So wow, this video has been completely useless. So I thought I would give some tips for people interested in switching factions, or if you're just starting out in Planetside 2 and you want some tips on which faction to choose, learn from my mistakes. For newbies, make 3 characters. You can make 3 characters at the start, and you can have one for each faction. I wouldn't bother choosing one right there. I wouldn't bother getting the, your name tag, your username on like all games. Just do some random names, spend, 3 days on each faction and figure out which one you like the most. That would be the best thing to do. Don't watch a video and decide without actually trying, because it is a free game. So you can do that completely fine. You don't have to spend a dime. So 3 factions. Make a character for each one when you're starting out. And for people that are like me in my position and making the switch, quote unquote, think of how much time you spend playing the game. Do you play Planetside 2 every day? Do you have friends in the faction that you've already chosen? Have you spent actual money on your faction specific guns? If you choose nanite system weapons and you spend real money on it, you can use those on all factions. But if you spent something on, say, like the Blitz GD, whatever it's called, for the new conglomerate, you cannot use the equivalent of that for the Vanu Sovereignty. And also see what gadgets you've spent certs on upgrading, because there's so many that you'll realize. Your shield capacitors, your medical applicator for the medic class. There's so many little things that end up adding up to a lot of certs. And finally, look at your battle rank. If you're high battle rank, you're probably just going to want to stay with the same faction, unless you really, really hate yours. But in all honesty, it doesn't really matter what faction you're in. If you like yours enough and you spent enough time in the faction and you don't see enough reason to actually switch, I would just stick it out. It's not a big deal. Of course, like I said, the reason I switched is because the Vanu's weapons are usually more accurate than the other factions. But yeah, this video is kind of useless, I'm not gonna lie. Hope you liked it. Hope you like this outro. I'm actually using some original music of mine and made it today, so I kind of want to test it out, so I thought I'd make this video. But anyways, if you like this video, like it. And if you really liked it, hit that subscribe button. Alright, peace out, stay safe.